Good afternoon, Mr. Smith.
It'll work better if I unmute. Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your client, Ms. Ramirez, is here. She indicated she had not spoken with you yet. Did you speak with Ms. Wussman?
I have not. I was just got out of circuit court hearing with Judge Elmore.
All right, then should I put you in a breakout room with her first so that she can relay the offer to you?
I'd be happy to do that. I haven't seen the police reports or anything else. I mean, I know nothing about this case other than the charge. I don't even know what store.
Okay, well here, let's do this. I'll give you the opportunity to speak with Ms. Wussman first, and then I'll let you talk with your client, okay?
Very well, thank you. That sounds like a wonderful plan.
Is that your client on the screen then?
Yeah, that's
Mr. Williams?
Mr. Williams.
Okay, we'll wait until Rachel comes back and then we'll call that.
Okay.
I still haven't seen, Mr. Nathan?
Well, they haven't been in the hallway when I came out.
No? You probably would have seen him. There aren't a lot of people to confuse him with.
Should be easy to spot.
Yeah, let's see, well. And you're certain that he's out?
Yes, he's out.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hanel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm good. What matter are you here on today?
I'm here on Shane Torres.
Are you covering for Miss Cranenberg?
No, you signed a substitution of counsel in this case, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
And actually, you know, he is being kept in Lansing right now in Ingham County Jail. You give him a PR bond, but because he had a parole hold, they keep the parolees in Ingham County. So I'm not 100% sure that they're set up to be here today.
Yeah, nobody gave me information that Ingham County was going to zoom him in. So let me check with my clerk, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Smith, I'll place you in a breakout room now with your client, okay?
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah. Ms. Ramirez, keep an eye on your screen, and you'll be assigned to a breakout room to meet with your attorney. And that's Mr. Williams, correct?
I'm sorry?
That's Mr. Williams?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
The court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Davion Williams, case number 20-60141FY. This is the date and the time set for a probable cause conference in this matter. Mr. Pebley, I'll have you come up to the lectern so that everyone can see you. I don't know if you can see on the bottom right hand of the Polycom there, it shows the, there you are. All right. And counsel, if you could give your appearances for the record, please.
Rachel Westman on behalf of the people.
Don Pebley for Mr. Williams.
Thank you. And how does your client intend to proceed today?
He's going to waive the preliminary exam to keep open the package, this case with a pending carrying a concealed weapon case. They actually happened at the same time. It's just there was a delay because of they sent a substance to the lab to be analyzed.
I understand. So Mr. Williams, you do have the right to a preliminary examination in this matter. At that time, the state would have to prove that there's probable cause to believe that the crime charged was committed and probable cause to believe that you are the individual who committed it. Your attorney indicates today that you intend to waive your right to preliminary examination in order to continue negotiations and potentially pursue a package deal in the circuit court. Is that the way you intend to proceed today?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I have a number of documents that I need in order to send your case over to circuit court. Have you asked your client whether he gives his permission for you to sign the bind over and the waiver form on his behalf?
I did talk to him about that, and he authorized me to sign for him.
All right, then. Let me put my mask on, Mr. Tubman. You may approach. Thank you. You can sign it right there. Or up on the ledge if it's easier.
Probably easier.
Where do we keep our waiver from? Do we have waivers here? Circuit court arrangement waivers?
I have one filled
You
out.
have one? All right, thank you. All right, the record will reflect that I've received a bind over transfer form signed by Mr. Pebley and on behalf of his client, and that he's providing the court with a signed waiver of circuit court arraignment as well. Ms. Wisman, is there anything further on this matter?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you both.
Okay, Rachel, I'll email you the pre-exam form.
Okay, thank you.
We
All
want to
right.
deal with Mr. Nathan.
We do. We'll call that now. The court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Jalen Nathan, case number 21-60055FY. This is the date and time set for probable cause conference in this matter. It was actually set at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and it is now 2:38. Mr. Nathan has not appeared. Mr. Pebley, have you spoken to your client?
I did on Friday, and he was aware of this.
All right, is there an offer being extended by the office of the prosecutor?
Your Honor, this, the offer that was extended was for a package deal in circuit court as well. I believe that the defendant has a pending case that's already in front of Judge Quist.
All right. Any objection, Ms. Wisman, to just leaving this on for the preliminary examination date and treating it like a probable cause at that time?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Pebley, I think that's how we'll proceed. We'll leave this on for the next date. You can contact your client and hopefully get him here next time.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We're adjourned in this matter then.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day as well.
Hey, Rachel,
Yeah,
we think your offer sucks, but we're going to waive the prelim in order to keep it open. I just don't see anything that we're going to gain by running a prelim on this.
okay. Sounds good.
All right, the court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Shane Michael Torres, case number 21-60053FY. Ms. Westman appears on behalf of the state, and attorney Steve Hanel represents the defendant, who I'm told now is in the custody of Ingham County. Is that correct, Mr. Hanel?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, this is the date and time set for a probable cause conference. If he's gone, because I said in on a personal recognizance, perhaps that was an oversight on my part, but have you been able to communicate with him, Mr. Hanel?
I have, Your Honor. Him and I we spoke earlier today. We were gonna. I was hoping to do a private conference with him to see what his decision was going to be. If they are going to have him here today, we would be okay just leaving this on for the preliminary exam. I'm sure Ms. Westman and I can have this worked out by the next date in the court schedule.
Well, I checked with my clerk, and she said she didn't have any information that he was coming in from Ingham, mostly because she did not communicate with him that we needed him here. And so he likely is not going to be here today. So what we'll do is we'll leave on for the prelim with no witnesses. You can talk with your client if it's going to be a waiver. You can submit the bind over transfer form, a waiver of circuit court arraignment, and the signed pretrial statement with the office of the prosecutor here to the court, and we'll just take it off the docket.
Okay, thank you. And there is a chance it may actually be a plea, Your Honor. We're coming close to a resolution in the matter, so.
All right, then we'll leave it on. Like I said, you just inform us how you want to proceed.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Mr. Houghton, nice to see you.
Judge, how are you?
I'm well. What matter are you here on?
I'm here for Terrion Tillman.
All right. Now, it was my understanding they were going to have you doing research, and now they have you assigned to felonies?
From time to time. Have to step in.
All right. Mr. Houghton, have you had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Westman about this matter?
Not yet.
All right. Would it be helpful if I placed the two of you in a breakout room to start?
Yes.
All right, let's do that.
Thank you.
Let's see, Ms. Westman, you should be able to jump back in the same breakout room.
Okay, sounds good, Your Honor.
Mr. Tillman, when your attorney returns, I'm gonna place him into a breakout room with you to discuss whatever offer may be on the table, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so go ahead and watch your screen. I'll assign you to that breakout room, and when he comes back, I'll move him into it.
Okay.
Mr. Houghton, I have Mr. Well, he saw it. The court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Mija Ramirez, case number 21-60048FY. Counsel, your appearances for the record.
Rachel Westman on behalf of the people.
Matthew Smith on behalf of the defendant.
Thank you. And this matter is scheduled for a probable cause conference this afternoon. Mr. Smith, how does your client intend to proceed?
Your Honor, we'll be waiving the preliminary examination, even though I don't have the police report. The prosecution was very gracious in going over the entire case with me. I have a very good handle on what's going on, and we think we'd like to try to get this resolved up in circuit court.
All right. Ms. Ramirez, you do have the right to a preliminary examination. At that date and time, the state would have to prove that there's probable cause that exists, that this crime was in fact committed, and probable cause that you are the person who committed it. Is it your intention today to waive your right to preliminary examination in order to continue negotiating and resolving this matter in the circuit court? All right. I think I read your lips as yes, ma'am, but I'll ask you to unmute, please, and to tell me again.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we will do that. Mr. Smith, have you spoken with your client about signing paperwork on her behalf?
I have, Your Honor, and she has granted me permission.
All right, then we need the waiver of circuit court arraignment, the pretrial statement from the prosecutor, and the bind over transfer form. And I know that you have those documents and know how to get them to us, so we will wait and then we will have this matter bound over.
Very well, Your Honor. Just so you're aware, I might not get them to you before the end of the day, only because I've got to
Okay.
run down to circuit. But I will
That's fine. We're actually, honestly, Mr. Smith, we're a little short-staffed in the courthouse today, and so it may be that my clerks couldn't get to it until tomorrow morning anyway. So we will wait to receive it, and when we do, we will go ahead and enter those documents, okay?
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Ms.
Have a good one.
Ramirez, you're all set. You may go.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kosorik.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I am here for Chuck Bokalu on Miss Brandt.
All right, I suspected that might be the case when I saw you logging in. So the paperwork that was sent to Mr. Bokalu was incorrect, had some incorrect dates and times. So if you want to give him a heads up, the court services paperwork that he got first indicated that the PCH in this matter was today at 3, but it was actually scheduled at 1:30. So we saw on the paperwork, you're not in trouble for being late. We figured we know why you're late. But it also indicates that the preliminary examination is to be held today, which it is not. So if you could let him know that the prelim is set for next week, March 8th at 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock?
Yes, and we will get a copy of the original notice of hearing that went to the defendant out to him. It's the court services paperwork that was incorrect.
All right.
Okay, so that's the preliminary matter. Matter number 2 with Miss Brandt is that she was scheduled to be arraigned this afternoon on misdemeanor charges. Magistrate White was doing the arraignments. She has charges of false info. Let's see, false info and a driving on an expired operator's license, but also some additional tickets. And she was, like I said, she was arraigned and she attempted to enter a guilty plea, but knowing she was scheduled for a PCH on another matter, we thought it might be a good idea for her to talk to counsel before accepting that plea.
Okay.
All right. So would you like to speak to Ms. Wustman and or Ms. Brandt?
I believe I do have a PCC form that's already been filled out by the prosecuting attorney. The offer, I know what that is. Let me just speak with Ms. Brandt first.
All right, I will move you into the defender's, well, let's see, we'll move you into a breakout room and you can have a conversation with her.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, the court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Terrion Levante Tillman, case number 21-60058FY. This matter is scheduled for a probable cause conference this afternoon. Counsel, your appearances for the record.
Rachel Westman on behalf of the people.
Home for Mr. Tillman.
Thank you. And Mr. Houghton, how would your client like to proceed today?
We have an offer from the prosecutor's office that, as charged, no objection to HIDA to keep this if we waive bind over. So I think we're going to do that today.
All right, and have you spoken to Mr. Tillman about signing the requisite paperwork on his behalf?
Mr. Tillman gave me permission to sign the bind over paperwork and then the PCC form.
All right, what about the waiver of circuit court arraignment?
I normally wait until I have a copy of the information to sign that. So we'll take care of that at a future date.
All right, well, we will wait to receive those documents from you, Mr. Houghton, and then we will get this matter bound over to circuit court.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Tillman, you understand that you have the right to a preliminary examination and that at that time, the state would have to prove that there's probable cause to believe that the crimes charged were committed and probable cause to believe that you were the individual who committed them. Is it your intention today to waive those rights in order to preserve the offer that potentially includes sentencing under the Holmes Youthful Trainee Act? and to further negotiate this matter in circuit court?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Your attorney indicates that he has your permission to sign the bind over transfer form in this matter, as well as the PCC form, which is required by this court in order to bind it over. I will wait for him to submit that paperwork, and we'll adjourn for today. We're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, and that just leaves us with Ms. Brandt. So we'll resolve that in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Rachel,
Yes, sir.
the misdemeanor charges, can we throw those in on the deal with the felony? I don't know anything about those.
The misdemeanors, are they in Kentwood as well? Or are they?
I'm assuming they're Kentwood because I'm assuming they're city charges because they're not listed on his in complaint. The only thing he's got on the complaint is the retail fraud.
Yeah, I mean, what we typically do then is just conditionally dismiss with their permission, and then eventually in circuit court do that. Was it another I can't remember what it was. Was it another retail fraud?
No, it's a false info and DWLS.
Oh, okay. I can just put a note too in our file.
All right, good. Thank you.
About because, yeah, see if they're state or city charges, but either way. they
All
usually-
right. Good, that'd be appreciated, so we can put it all in one packet. Thanks.
Sounds good.
And
Yeah.
we have a waiver.
Okay.
The court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Kimberly Ann Brandt, case number 20-60156FY. Counsel, your appearances for the record.
Rachel Wussman on behalf of the people.
Roman Kosorik on behalf of Ms. Brandt, and I'm covering this PCC for Attorney Charles Bukalu, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Kosorik. Ms. Wussman, is there an offer being extended in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer that I believe Ms. Brandt would like to waive to preserve is upon a successful plea and sentenced as charged to the retail fraud first degree, the people will dismiss the supplemental habitual information. And we also discussed conditionally dismissing the misdemeanors pending the false info and the driving with a suspended license.
All right, Mr. Kosorik, how does Ms. Brandt intend to proceed today?
Your Honor, Ms. Brandt will be waiving the preliminary exam to preserve this offer, so we would like to waive it, please.
Thank you. Ms. Brandt, you do have the right to a preliminary examination. At that hearing, the state must prove that there's probable cause to believe that the crime charged was committed and probable cause to believe that you are the person who committed that crime. Is it your intention to waive your right to preliminary examination in this matter in order to preserve the offer that you heard read onto the record?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Then this court requires a signed bind over form to transfer this case to circuit court. It's difficult to do in context where we are all appearing via Zoom. And so, Mr. Kosorik, did you speak with Ms. Brandt about giving permission to either you or Mr. Bukalu to sign a bind over form and potentially a waiver of circuit court arraignment?
Your Honor, I did quickly, and she is nodding her head that she is in agreement with that. So either myself or Mr. Bukalu can sign those waivers if the court will provide them to us.
I will ask my clerk to provide them to you if she has time, but we are kind of short-staffed today, and I'll note that you can find them both on SCAO, the bind over form, as well as a waiver of circuit court arraignment. Perhaps if you could print them and fill them out and return them to us, that would be very helpful. Also, okay. I know that Mr. Bukalu may already have them. We sent out a mailing to all of the attorneys who do appointed work. And they should all be in that email as well. And then we'll need a copy of the PCC form as well, which I don't seem to have in the file. So.
I do have a copy, so I will execute the PCC form, and I will email to the court's clerk as soon as I can here.
Thank you. I'm putting a note in here to try to email you the bind over form if possible. All right. And then, Mr. Kosorek, do you want to stick around while the court addresses the misdemeanor case?
You mean the arraignment? I can do that, although I don't know if Mr. Buchler represents her on those or not. But I can stick around for the arraignment.
And I don't know if he does or if he will or not either, but I do just want to put this on the record. The court is calling the case of the City of Kentwood versus Kimberly Ann Brandt, case number 21-50131OM. Ms. Brandt, you were arraigned on this matter earlier this afternoon, and no plea was entered for you. Given the current circumstances, this court is going to enter a not guilty plea for you on both counts. My question to you, ma'am, is, are you asking this court to appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter?
I thought that it was just being sent over with the other two things.
Well, and it may be. So here's what we're going to do. Because I know that you were appointed counsel in the other matter, I can appoint counsel for you. And what we'll do is we'll send this over to court services and let them know that, because Mr. Bokaloo is court appointed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That he's got your felony matters, and see if he can handle these as well. Then the last thing the court is going to do on this matter is set bail. Mr. Kosorek, unless you have any other argument, I will simply set a personal recognizance bond on this matter.
Your Honor, if the court wishes to do a PR bond, I would also put in a condition that a tether be also ordered for Ms. Brandt with release to tether only.
All right, well, I think she is being held on bond on the other matter.
She is, Your Honor.
All right, and I don't know if, and I think the bond conditions on that other matter are on release on tether only on that as well.
Okay, so that should cover it. Thank you.
That should cover it, yep. So we'll set this as a $500 personal recognizance bond. And if you are released, Ms. Brandt, you must show up on time for any and all court appearances. Your next court date in this matter is March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. That's on the misdemeanor.
Okay.
You must keep the court notified of your address. You must show up on time for any and all court appearances. You may not leave the state of Michigan without the court's permission. You may not commit any crimes while out on bond. You are to report on the next business day after your release to the probation department here at the Kentwood District Court. That's 4740 Walma in the city of Kentwood. Submit to tests as directed by a probation officer or a police officer, and or obtain counseling and a substance abuse assessment as directed by the probation officer. So that's it. We're all set on both of these matters, I believe.
I have one question. Do I still go to court on the 8th?
So I think that's the preliminary examination date that was originally scheduled in your other matter, and you waived that preliminary examination. And so that will fall off the calendar, right? You don't need to appear for that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. And
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kosorek. Thank you, Ms. Wisman.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have one question. I'm covering Thursday, the Gitchelar matter, and it's,
Okay.
I'm just wondering if that is, I believe it's going to be a waiver, but if it has to be in person or is it via Zoom, or
Well, it's just the probable cause conference, and so I don't, he'll be appearing from the jail. If counsel wants to appear, I don't know that we scheduled it specifically in person. In
Yeah,
fact, I think we
was.
were anticipating a preliminary examination to run.
No, and actually there's a date the following week for that.
Right.
So okay, so I didn't know if there was anything, different about this
Well-
one, or if we can just handle it. And really, I know Mr. Chamberlain is going to be handing in the paperwork, so. But
Okay. Well, I hadn't heard
I
that yet, and
understand.
we had blocked off the entire morning next week in anticipation of the prelim. So I guess what we'll do is we'll wait and see if we receive that paperwork. I can go double check with Michelle. I simply don't know whether or not anything different instructions were sent out with the notice. So I would say we'll handle it as in your normal course unless you got other information.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Yep, you too.